Hello students, today we are going to study about the measurement of rate of transpiration. There are two methods for measuring the rate of transpiration. First one is the weighing method and the other one is pottometer method. We'll start with the weighing method first. For this we have taken a weighing balance and we'll take a potted plant. We'll take the weight of the potted plant and keep its measurement. Then we'll keep that potted plant in sunlight for some period of time for about 2 hours, and then again we'll take the weight of it. This difference in the weight will give us the rate of transpiration. We will observe that after 2 hours there will be loss in the weight. This loss in the weight is due to the transpiration, and this will give us the rate of transpiration. The another way of measuring the rate of transpiration using the weighing method. For this we have taken a glass bottle with a graduated side tube in it, and we have fixed the plant twig with the help of cork, and we have taken the reading also of the amount of water. Suppose if the level of water is over here, after 2 hours when we take the reading, that it then we will see that the level of water will be slightly low. this this difference in the level of water will give us the rate of transpiration. The another way is what we have taken a test tube in which we have fixed the plant twig, and this test tube contains water, and we have poured a layer of oil over the water surface so that no loss of water occurs from the test tube containing water. We'll take the weight of it with the help of weighing balance after keeping it in a beaker by the starting of the experiment, and then we'll keep it in the sunlight for some period of time. Then again we will take the weight of it. We will see that there is loss in the weight of plant twig, which is because of the transpiration. Another method is pottometer method, which is the most effective method for measuring the rate of transpiration. Pottometer is a device which measures the rate of water intake by a plant. There are two main types of pottometer, Genong's pottometer and Darwin's pottometer. Both are performing the same function. The only difference is in the setup, is in how they have arranged, how the arrangement has been done, the devices which they have used, the equipments they have used, and the structure of the equipments vary, but the method is almost the same in both of them. Here we have explained the Genong's pottometer. With the help of Genong's pottometer, we are trying to calculate the rate of transpiration. So, firstly, let us know about how the setup has been done. They have taken the graduated capillary tube, and they have fixed the cork, the rubber stopper, on one side, and in such a way that it is having a single hole into which the plant twig is being fixed. The plant twig is in contact with the water so that it can absorb the water, and there is a stop cork to control the water which is being present in the reservoir. There's a beaker containing colored water on one of the sides, and this capillary tube is dipped in this colored water. Now we will calculate the time also with the help of stopwatch. Now how we have to start the process? Firstly, we will take the graduated tube and we will dip it in the colored water. in such a way that a bubble is being introduced. This introduction of bubble is very important. So we will dip the capillary tube in the colored water which is present in the beaker again and again, so that a air bubble is being introduced. Once the air bubble is being introduced, now we will make sure that this air bubble reaches to the zero level. Here the readings are being given, so we will make sure that the air bubble is present at the zero level. And once it reaches to the zero level, in order to ensure that it reaches to the zero level, if it is ahead, a bit more above it or below it, then we will use the stopcock, and we will open the stopcock and allow the water in the reservoir to move in the capillary tube to adjust the air bubble. So this is the function of reservoir to help in adjusting the air bubble present in the capillary tube. Now leave this setup for some period of time and then take the reading. We will take the reading and then we will see that due to the transpiration taking place from the leaves, it absorbs more of the water, and as it absorbs the water, this air bubble, as it absorbs the water, the air bubble also moves ahead. The air bubble moves ahead, and after some period of time we will take the reading, and suppose if it has reached to the 2 level 2, so 2 ml will be the amount of water lost in that particular period of time. We'll see the time in the stopwatch. This will give us the rate of transpiration, the amount of water lost by the plant twig in a given period of time. Now, what are the difficulties? What are the limitations we face? So, the limitation is that it is very difficult to introduce the air bubble in the capillary tube, first of all. Secondly, the twig does not remain alive for longer period of time. Any change in the external temperature may also affect the position of air bubble in the capillary tube. Now, these are the factors affecting the transpiration. First one is the plant parameters, and the other one is environmental changes, environmental conditions. So, plant parameters are stomata. If the stomata is open, the transpiration rate will be very high, and if it is closed, the transpiration rate decreases. If the number of stomata are more, the transpiration will be more. If the number of leaves are more, the transpiration will be more. Cuticle. If the cuticle is thick enough, the transpiration will be less. Leaf area. If the leaf area is large enough, then more transpiration will occur. The root and the shoot ratio. If a low root and shoot ratio decreases, then the rate of transpiration will be then it also affects the rate of transpiration, while a high ratio will increase the rate of transpiration. So low root and shoot ratio means rate of transpiration less, and high root and shoot ratio, the rate of transpiration will be high. Mesophyll cells. If the mesophyll cells are compactly arranged, the rate of transpiration will be less. If it is very loosely arranged, the rate of transpiration will be more. Why? Because they will get the air spaces for the movement, and they can easily, the water particles can easily be moving out through the through the substomatous spaces. More the leaves and spines, then less will be the transpiration, as it avoids the spines, the prickles, all these things reduce the transpiration. The environmental conditions are light intensity. First one is light intensity. The greater the light intensity, more will be the transpiration. Why? Because in the presence of light, more of the stomata is open, most of the stomata is open, and the it allows the rate of transpiration. So more light, more transpiration. Humidity is the amount of water vapor present in the air. So if the amount of water vapor present in the air is already high, the rate of transpiration will be low. So you can say that the rate of transpiration is inversely proportional to the humidity. Temperature. If the temperature is high, the rate of transpiration will be high. Wind. If the wind will be if wind blows very fastly, it carries away the water particles, as the water droplets, and hence the rate of transpiration will be high. Soil water. If the soil water is more, then the more of the transpiration will occur. More the water, more as more the soil water, more the plant will absorb it, and more the water in the plant, more will be the transpiration. If the carbon dioxide concentration increases more than the normal, then the stomata gets closed. Now we move on. How do these plants adapt in the adverse conditions? In xerophytic conditions. So these xerophyte plants, they are lacking water in the soil, so they reduce the number of leaves. They turn the leaves into spines. So leaves, when they are present in the form of spine, they provide them protection also, and they avoid the transpiration also. The stomata are less in number and hence reduce transpiration. Example of xerophytic plant is cactus. Plants which are not having the waxy layers, how waxy layer means, like if they are not having cuticle, how will they avoid the transpiration? So they avoid transpiration by having sunken stomata, by covering by the cover which is having lot of hairs, fine hairs they are having. Fine fibrous structures covers the stomatal opening, trap the vapor that comes out to the stomata. Humidity increases the humidity into it. Hence, they reduce the transpiration. Examples of such plants are Miriam and Oleander. Now, the plants which line the equatorial evergreen region, they are having big leaves, big surface area, and lots of stomata. So how will they avoid the transpiration? They avoid transpiration by the thick waxy layer known as cuticle. This cuticle covers the stomatal opening in the epidermis and prevents the excessive loss of water, which helps to limited amount of transpiration. Example is banana leaf. Now, anti-transparent is the artificially prepared chemical substance. These are the compounds which are applied on the leaves of the plant to reduce the transpiration. They are basically used on the Christmas trees, on the cut flowers, on the newly transplanted shrubs, and in other applications to protect the plants from drying out quickly. They also being used to protect the leaves from salt-borne as well as the fungal diseases. Now we study the significance of transpiration. The first significance of transpiration is ascent of sap. Means if there will be no transpiration by the leaf, then there will be no upward movement of water from the xylem present in the root to the xylem present in the leaf. So transpiration occurs, this transpiration occurring is very important for the upward movement of water. It is very necessary for the process of ascent of sap. Next thing, removal of excess of water. Transpiration helps in removing the excess of water which is present in the plant, which is absorbed by the plant. cooling effect by the loss of water, just like sweating in case of human. In the same way, transpiration in case of plants help in losing the water in the form of water vapor, and this water loss helps in giving the cooling effect when the wind blows. Distribution of mineral salts: when there will be loss of water by transpiration, more of the water is pulled along with the minerals present in the soil particles. Hence, more new minerals and salts are being added up in the plant. Next method is guttation. Guttation is the loss of excess of water in the form of water droplets. Now, the difference between guttation and transpiration is that in transpiration there was a loss of water in the form of water vapor, but in case of guttation there is loss of water in the form of water droplets as liquid drops from the, and this loss is taking place from the margins of the leaf. So, guttation is the loss of water in the form of water droplets from the margins of the leaves. And this takes place by the help of specialized structure known as hydatodes. Just like transpiration used to take place from cuticle, from stomata, from the lenticles. In the same way, guttation occurs by a specialized structure known as hydatodes. There are two conditions in which the guttation occurs. First one, when the root pressure is very high, and the another one when the transpiration is very low. When the transpiration is not occurring and the transpiration is very low and the root pressure is very high, in that case only the guttation occurs. So these are the two conditions in which guttation occurs. And in the water droplets which is being lost during guttation, it usually contains sugar or salts. Now the next process is of bleeding. Just like when we get a cut on our skin, then it bleeds. This bleeding contains a drop of blood. In the same way, when the plants get hurt, their plant tissue get injured, they also bleed, and their bleeding consists of the sap which is being the cell sap which is being removed, or the sap content which is being removed from the ruptured surface. And this loss of sap occurs due to the root pressure which is generated by the plant. So, bleeding is the injury to the certain plant tissue due to which the sap content is escaped out from the ruptured surface due to the root pressure generated by the plant. So, we end up this chapter here. Thank you.